to another episode of Dose and a Half Cincos. This is episode number 82. This week we cover Army of the Dead. But before we get into it, as always, I'm your host, David.
And I am Stuart.
And I'm Ben.
Guys, outside of the movie of the week this week, did you guys see anything else interesting?
Stuart?
Ben?
Not particularly. Other than I finished watching Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix.
Was the first season better or was this season better?
I'll say the first season's better only because the first season had 18 episodes or 18 things, and this season this whatever volume only had 8.
Huh.
Are they doing a two-parter, as in like you'll get more before the end of the year?
That would be the only acceptable reason. But
was the book better than the movie?
I'm David.
So if compared to the first season, or for those who aren't uninitiated about Love, Death, and Robots, what were your thoughts on this particular season, besides it being short?
And I mean, it's tough to say because like season 1 also had some kind of stuff that was kind of hit or miss. And I just feel like because this one only had 8 episodes, it had less opportunity to hit, and so I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's kind of like a buffet, right? Like there's 18 items here. Yeah,
you're bound to find some good stuff in there, but if there's only 8 items, then it's like, well,
only 2 item.
Then for those 8 items, you go back for thirds, and then afterwards you really question your life decisions as you go for the dessert, and then afterwards you go for the dessert again, and then you vomit in the parking lot.
Ben, that was oddly specific. This sounds like from experience.
Yeah, you referencing something? Or?
No, I'm not. But I mean, what kind of buffet makes artisanal Oreos out of real chocolate?
There's the answer.
The kind that exists in my fantasy jokes that I make, and then they become real.
Artisanal Oreos.
Like, seriously, I want to get cookies and cream. I don't want fucking chocolate bars and vanilla ice cream. No, I want fucking Oreos. Just take the fucking Oreos, put in the vanilla ice cream. I'm happy. I don't need your fucking Gucci ass shit that gets me allergic reactions.
Is that a rule that they're not allowed to use the word Oreo? Because we all know what that means, right? It's supposed to be either Oreo or it's imitation of Oreo. Whenever they say cookies and cream. But are they not allowed to say the word Oreo because they have to pay if they say the word Oreo?
It could be those knockoff Oreos. I forgot what they're called.
Oh, the tuxedos or whatever.
Or I think there's some goofier named ones.
I'm sure there is, but it's kind of like our deep dive that we went into about Dr. Pepper last week.
Dr.
Thunder, Dr. Chen, Dr. Somali. Like, wait a minute. There's a soda. Yeah, it's in Indonesia.
Hydrox.
That sounds like fucking kids' medicine.
No. That sounds like it was a detergent. Which washing machine does that go into?
The one that's in your mouth, and then you drink some milk.
Now with more saliva. All right. So Stu, if you were looking at it overall from season 1 of Love, Death, and Robots, how many were hit? How many of them were bangers, and then how many of them were misses?
I'd say about half of them were bangers in the first season, and I feel like maybe only like 2 to 3 were bangers in this one.
Oh, the ratio definitely has gone down. Okay, all right. Well,
I mean, not to say that they weren't like enjoyable. It's just like season 1, the first volume it was just more. It was just more.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll stick with that. That sounds good. What about you, Ben? Anything else this week?
I rewatched The Mummy. I haven't seen that in forever.
That
Brendan Fraser?
Yeah, fucking Brendan Fraser. I missed that guy.
That was when Brendan Fraser was riding high.
Oh, man, that Brendan Fraser. He's so hot back then.
And what's her name?
Selma Hayek?
No.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Selma Hayek. Daniel
British
Craig's
lady.
wife? Is that?
Sure.
Yeah, her.
What?
Daniel Craig's wife was in it, I think.
That's her. That's his wife, Rachel Weisz's.
Rachel
Weisz's. Rachel was so.
Oh,
I
hello,
did not. Yeah, but I gotta rewatch it. It was held up pretty well.
Was that somebody's pick?
Yeah, who picked that?
That was Pyro's pick. So thank you, Pyro.
Very good. It's always a good. I always like the circa World War I aesthetic of that movie.
Yeah, I did like it. You know, the exterior design of everything. You know, it felt very. It didn't feel cheap. I feel like there are definitely some movies that try to establish itself as like World War One or like 1700s or something, and like Victorian, and it's just like paper thin, and it's just like, what the fuck is this? Like,
it had that feeling of like those like 1950s like black and white adventure movies.
Yeah, it really did, and you know, everything felt heavy and authentic, and like you could reach out and touch it. Whereas like I think one of the recent movies we watched, well, not recent, but Gretel and Hansel, is that it?
Yeah.
That one, I mean, the aesthetic was cool, but why even put in that time period if you're not even
gonna capitalize on it?
Yeah, you know, it was just like, well, what the fuck? This doesn't seem like whatever time period you're supposed to be in. This is some quasi bullshit. But yeah, Mummy, love that shit. I hope to see more Brendan Fraser, although I think he's making a comeback. I think he is.
He is in a DC show, I think.
Right now. The Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
But he's a robot. He's a robot.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get around to watching that, but haven't gotten around to it yet.
I know King Bowie highly recommends it. So does Pyro. So
okay. Is that on HBO Go?
It might be HBO Max, HBO Go, one of the two.
Sorry, HBO Max. HBO Go.
It might be. Yeah, it might be.
If you wanted to see more Rachel Weisz or Wiseau, she will be in the new Black Widow movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. She's gonna be Mama Black Widow or something, right?
Yep.
Yeah. This is like late 90s, early 2000s Rachel Weisz, so it might be a little different.
Who knows? I mean,
Mama Weisz.
Maybe she's a MILF now. I don't know.
Yeah, there's some wines that just keep getting.
Like Brendan Fraser.
Oh my God, he just. I don't think that's ever going to stop depreciating in value. He's the real estate market. He's getting thicker and plumper and juicier.
Wait, that's not the way the real estate market's going.
Oh,
for the sellers, maybe.
Yeah, for the sellers. I also watched one more movie. It was a Korean movie. Exit. Man, that was one of the wackiest movies I've seen in a while. I feel like it was okay. So the plot of the movie is there's this dude. He's a fucking loser. Doesn't have a job or anything, and everyone makes fun of him. You know, the fucking kids on the playground, and all he does is just fucking rock climbs. Right? He has no job, no prospects, nothing. And then, like, this part of the movie was not very well explained. I think they explained it in like maybe a minute. But there's a fucking deadly gas that starts spreading throughout the city and killing anyone that breathes it in. And suddenly, the only thing he's good at is finally useful, and he starts climbing buildings and shit and like saving people. And I felt
isn't that like The Mist?
But
from
we did say like, hey, it's like The Mist.
But gas rises.
Yeah,
and if he climbs, he'll just end up dying because that's where the gas will be.
Yeah, he eventually climbs to like the highest point of the city, and then a fuking helicopter saves him and a bunch of other people. So
did Letty take offense to the fact that they were portraying climbers as losers?
She was judging all the different climbing holds he was doing.
Oh, okay. It's not even. So she's like, I was like me to like gun stuff in movies.
That is a good comparison. Yes. Just like, I don't know if that's very feasible with that tow hook.
How accurate was it?
I mean, some parts were just like, I don't like, even from a physics standpoint, just like, what the fuck? I don't think that works out. You know?
Wait a minute, rock climbers don't have spider senses or webs.
I don't know about physics to dispute this.
But man, it was a wild ride. I think that, you know, it's such a weird personal story that it feels like maybe the director is just really into rock climbing. He's like, I'll show everyone.
I'll show everyone it's cool.
Rock climbing's a cool sport. Well, he showed me. Now, if there is a deadly gas, I'm going to hold on to Letty for dear life.
You just have to save me.
Forget everyone else. And yeah, like just like in the movie, just carry me while you're rock climbing. That's you have enough strength for that.
Interesting. Okay.
What'd you watch, David?
I am almost caught up with Mythic Quest.
Really? What do you think
Yeah.
about it?
I loved the first season. Second season, it's kind of a little bit weird. But
okay.
I'm kind of excited to see, because I remember I had to go back to watch some of the episodes, and I really like the throwback origination episode of their that space that they're in.
Oh, is
that
that
was a
the
really
was it Quiet Lonely Death or
yeah
something?
yeah. Oh crap, Quiet Death, Silent Quiet Death or something like that, whatever. And I really enjoyed that episode, even though it wasn't as funny as some of the other ones.
Yeah.
But I definitely, man, I really cannot get enough of all the ab shots. it's I can't. I just really can't. Rob McElhenney is just like, whoa.
So he takes his shirt off even more in that show.
You guys see his ass. You guys see his bare ass.
Oh yeah, that was in one of the extra episodes.
Yeah.
But I definitely would suggest watching it. It's a lot of fun. The only thing I think is that's a little bit off for me is Charlotte Nickdow, who plays Poppy.
Oh yeah.
Her voice is a little bit hard for me to watch if I'm trying to binge the show. Because I wanted to go back, because I was like, I watched the first episode of season 2 and I was like, oh crap, what happened? And I went back, I was like, oh, it's only 8 episodes, it's fine, I'll start watching. And I binged all through it through the entire weekend. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can handle it, because she's Australian and she's extremely loud.
Normally Australian accents are...
It is, but
she has like a shrill voice, right?
Yeah, I would suggest watching it. I kind of understand now why Ben was like saying like, oh, it's like Silicon Valley but better, because I think that there are definitely a little bit more. It definitely panders a little bit more towards like nerd culture, as opposed to just portraying everybody as, I don't know, unhygienic as the guys from Silicon Valley were. Right, it's like, oh, these guys don't shower. They don't have right eating habits. They only eat Doritos out of bags. Wait a minute, I just described Ben.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, actually, I eat them out of bowls with a chopstick. That's the proper way. You don't get the Dorito fingers. Yeah, fucking uncultured.
But then what do you? You don't have anything to suck on after.
The chopsticks. Fucking chopsticks.
That's only 2 though.
The whole thing. It's the whole chopstick. You ever want to see a man deep throat a chopstick?
Yeah, but I mean, I would definitely highly recommend it. I'm really glad they greenlit that second season. And yeah, there's some pretty good stuff in there for sure. I don't want to ruin this for anybody, but yeah, it's been a fun ride, and I hope I'm hoping that we at least get 4 seasons or 5 seasons out of this. But I don't think this can last much longer after that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know there's not like a lot of interest in it, so it's a little disappointing.
More importantly, on the topic of Rob McElhenney, it looks like season 15 of Always Sunny is going to be filming, starting up. I saw on his Instagram him and the gang.
All I know is if I had abs like him, I would be shirtless for all of my scenes too.
Wait, did you guys see that Rob McElhenney and what's his name, Ryan Reynolds are buying a soccer
team?
Yeah, a soccer team and everything.
I don't know why that's a thing. People like celebrities.
You have too much money. They either buy alcohol, and then after they're done with that, they sell it and they buy a sports team.
Someone's convincing them that buying an obscure soccer team is like a good investment.
I don't know, but the only thing I did really like about that was they made an announcement video about it,
and the Welsh translator.
Yeah. The end of it was my favorite part, where they were asking her to translate random things like, hey, can you ask her how do you say in Welsh, when's Deadpool 3 coming out? And then Ryan Reynolds fires back. He's just like, hey, can you ask her when what was it? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia season 16, The Dead Horse comes out.
I mean, I can understand. They're a really good tandem together, but clearly buying a Welsh soccer, neither of them are Welsh, right?
No.
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds is Canadian.
Yeah.
What about Rob?
He's Philadelphian.
No,
Really?
their last name. Where's that's Welsh, right?
Yeah,
That's
the
the Welsh province of Philadelphia.
Reynolds sounds pretty Mickish to me. Oh wait, no, not Reynolds. Wait, no, yeah, it's totally Irish. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was thinking of Ryan Reynolds. He's so dreamy.
Okay, all right. Well, we gotta quickly move over before we all get caught in a trance, and then this episode lasts forever.
Or
Talking
get lost
about
in Ryan Reynolds' eyes.
that. That's
Oh,
right.
man.
So let's go ahead and jump over to our box office rundown for this week. No surprise, at number 1 is Spiral. Number 2, Wrath of Man. Number 3, Those Who Wish Me Dead. Number 4, up from number 5, Raya and the Last Dragon. Number 5, up from number 6, clawing its way up, is Godzilla versus Hong Kong.
Still?
Yeah, they're still in the top 10. And
Yeah,
here's
there's still
another
people in
not
Hong
surprise. Demon Slayer Mugen Train.
Boo!
Number
Get fucking
6.
shit out of here.
Number 7, Mortal Kombat. Number 8, Scoob, the 2021 re-release for some reason. Number 9, Dream Horse. And number 10, Finding You. Any thoughts, questions, comments? Clearly, Ben really wants us to think he hated Mugen Train for some reason.
Yeah, it must really hurt him right now to say that kind of stuff.
Hurt what? Hurt what? Hurt
Yourself.
Himself.
It pains you.
Oh, it doesn't pain me to say that anime is trash.
See,
Well,
that was like the
So forced.
exasperated, like holding in the pain as he says it.
His trash.
I love
Anime.
All right.
we.
So any other thoughts? So Quiet Place 2. Since there's not much to talk about on this top 10, right? Clearly, whatever is there. No surprises too much outside of maybe Godzilla versus Kong is still in the top 10. But if you guys were to put Quiet Place 2, if our number 1 movie of last week was Spiral at 4.5, what do you think Quiet Place 2 is going to come in at over this weekend?
I think it'll blow up everyone else's box office.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be number 1 for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know about
The
numbers.
biggest release, I think, in the last couple weeks was probably Mortal Kombat with 23 million. Even though
I'm gonna go
Mugen
over
Train
that.
also Mugen Train at 21 million.
Boo.
Or might be Godzilla versus Kong at 30. Yeah, Godzilla versus Kong at 31. Over or under $30 million for Quiet Place 2. Part 2, sorry.
My heart wants to go over, but something my brain tells me not. It'll probably be in between 25 and 30. I'll call that.
Okay. How about you, Ben?
Is this what's called a parlay?
Which one's the lightning round?
This is the lightning round. I want a quick answer.
I'll say over. I believe in that John Krasinski beard. Over 30.
Okay.
That beard alone is worth like 15 million.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't.
So, Stu, would you like to change your answer?
No, well, because like I said, my heart wants to agree with Ben, but my brain.
You think not enough theaters are open yet for it to be?
Yeah, and I just think the general audience may not be as attracted to Quiet Place as they might be as to Godzilla vs. Kong.
Why is that, Stuart? Is it because of the
No, not because it's rating. No, not at all.
Oh my gosh, you're locking out a good portion of the broad audience with that.
I'm not.
R.
Nope.
Oh
Has
it
nothing
rated
to
R?
do with that. Has nothing to do with
science to that. Oh my
Absolutely
God.
has nothing to do with that, Ben.
Get the charts out. Get the charts.
Has everything to do with general
pandemic.
audiences being more entertained by two giant monsters smashing through cities than they would Scary Movie. So.
And the Chinese really like that they were just beating the shit
Just destroying it, just decimating Hong Kong.
I mean, they spent a long time just showing random people getting killed, and they even went to they showed famous Hong Kong politicians that were supporting independence just getting stomped and destroyed. That's crazy. And remember the after credit scene with Mao where they revived him,
And he became Mecha Godzilla.
The People's Republic will be champions forever.
Didi Mao, Mecha Mao, Mecha Mao.
Malka Godzilla.
No. Okay. All right. Well, since we're already talking about that, do you guys actually know how much it's grossed worldwide?
Godzilla
Just give a
vs.
wild guess.
300.
$300.
Yeah.
300 million, I'm assuming, is what is his guess. Stu, what do you think?
500 million.
Stu's closer.
Boo! He cheated.
432 million.
He has the internet. Boo!
So do you.
Wait, I do.
How are you connected to this? Yeah, we're recording you, Ben. Yeah.
I thought I was talking to a wall.
Start hiccuping. Okay. All right. So Stu's under 30, between 25 to 30, and Ben is over 30.
Ben's over 30.
Gotcha.
Or 31, I guess.
I'm gonna go with over with Ben
Oh.
on this one because it's PG-13, not rated R.
See, that's the casual explanation. That's the explanation for casuals.
Yep. That's what I provide here. I provide all the casuals something to listen for, and they skip
normal.
over all the other in-depth. Like, you guys go way too deep for this stuff. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and go over.
Just make bets because they feel like it.
Yeah.
This is sad.
There's no money in this. All right. Let's go ahead and go over to our movie of the week this week, Army of the Dead. I think Ben did one last week. You did the one.
I did like
before
two
that.
in a row, so
Yeah,
I think it's your turn.
All right, fine. When a routine transfer from Area 51 goes sideways, a zombie is released, wreaking havoc in the nearby city of Las Vegas. After a failed military attempt to stem the tide of the zombies, they lock them in. Enter Bly Tanaka, billionaire casino owner who has $200 million locked away in his casino vault. The only man capable of putting a team together to retrieve this is none other than Scott Ward. The only thing standing in the way of Scott Ward getting his family back and his share of $50 million is Chelsea Clinton.
Wow.
Is it Chelsea or Chelsea? Actually, it's the Army of the Dead.
Wow. You actually worked in a joke and didn't stumble over it. Congratulations, David.
Woo! So in
$50
terms
million.
of $50 million.
That was good.
Oh, what? I actually
Wow.
did one that was okay for once.
Stop the presses.
All right, thank you guys so much for stopping by on the Don't Stab Singles podcast.
Yeah, quick. End on a high note, David.
All right, guys. I'll start with you, Stu. Thoughts on Army of the Dead?
So it was a fun movie. It was more enjoyable, I think, than some zombie movies that have, Hollywood has tried to make. I definitely have a lot of gripes with this movie, but and some of them are just kind of like things that annoy me, and the other things are just like, well, I mean,
Full
I don't really
automatic?
know. Huh?
All the fully automatic?
No,
shooting?
not even really that.
Oh.
It was more the thing. One of the things that really annoyed me was just like I don't. Sometimes movies do this or scripts do this because they just have to have something that goes wrong, where it's like, the whole thing with his daughter and like, no, you're gonna take me with you. And like, oh, you little bitch, you're gonna ruin the whole thing for everyone.
We already knew that that was not going to end well just from that.
Exactly. So there's like, why does this need to be a thing? But there has to be something to cause trouble later on. So I guess, okay, we'll go with it. One of the things though, I was starting to notice more and more as the movie went on is how many things, and maybe some people won't notice this because they haven't seen the other movie as many times as I have. But there are a lot of things in this movie that were pretty much straight up lifted from Aliens. And I don't know if anyone noticed that.
That wasn't the one I would have compared this movie to. I was thinking Peninsula.
No, I'm not even talking about like the zombie. I'm talking about like smaller things like short, like just like certain scenes, or just even if they're just like 2 or 3 seconds long. Like the framing
of it, or you mean
the
storytelling element?
Yeah, and I actually have a little list I'll run down later, but
okay.
There are actually a lot of things that I was drawing a lot of parallels to Aliens. So I'm thinking whoever was in charge of that on the production side was probably, either paying homage to or just straight biting.
Executive producer James Cameron.
Oh, okay, that's all right then.
No, I don't know if that's actually the case.
Okay, but yeah, other than that, it was a fun movie, fun zombie flick, which seemed to have like with the whole Dave Bautista and his family thing. That was pretty. It
felt like shoehorned in, right?
Well, we'll get to the spoilers later, but I'll just go to the score. So I give it like a 5 out of 10.
Okay. What about you, Ben?
But
oh,
had Chris D'Elia not been cut out of the movie, I'd probably give it a 7.
We'll talk about a little bit of the controversy because there's another piece that I want to talk about before we kind of like get into it all. So hold on to that, Stu. I will come back to you on that. Ben, thoughts on this?
I am with Stu on this. I feel extremely mixed on the movie. It felt like it was really fun. I mean, not really fun, but it had enjoyable moments. But it felt really fucking thin, like paper thin, really spread out. There's a lot of cool ideas. It's just there's a lot of things going against it, like the antagonist. I fucking hated the antagonist. It was just like I mean, David, you've seen Train to Busan, right?
Yeah.
It's over the top evil.
Yeah, it's just like he had no reason for anything. It was just like cartoonishly evil. It was just like whenever he was approached with a decision, it was just like, which is the most asshole thing to do in this situation? Even if it doesn't make any logical goddamn sense.
My character sheet says I'm chaotic evil, so
super chaotic evil, stupid.
Yeah, it was just like, this thing could benefit me, but I want to be the asshole. So I'm the opposite. But yeah, I mean, it had some cool ideas, like similar to like Pacific Rim, like the world that has evolved from the zombie outbreak, right? We got a little glimpse into it with the like when they picked up the first dude, that streamer guy, right? Yeah. I was a little interested in that. It was like, oh, there's like this whole like fucking culture that's like revolved around. Of course
you would, you fucking zoomer.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Of course you'd be drawn to that character.
Yeah, or I mean, like, well, I don't think. Okay, I'm going to.
Here comes the gripe that there was no hot tub stream.
Hey, that'd been cool. That'd been funny.
Hey, but here's the thing: is I will agree with him that the one kind of like homage kind of thing was the fact that his gun was gold.
Oh yeah.
I know that was a huge Call of Duty thing where everybody was like, "Oh, I want to have a gold gun." I was like, that came from GoldenEye, dumbasses.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was kind of cool. He was just like the streamer kind of guy. It was like, he wanted to get shit for his social media and everything. And like his character played to that. I didn't, I'll get into like his actual character later during the spoilers or whatever. But, like that idea was cool. The idea of a kingdom of zombies, hierarchies, statuses. There's some spoilerly stuff that I thought was kind of cool. But all those cool ideas kind of had the same fucking fate, and they disappear without a goddamn trace or any explanation, and like they never expand on any of it. And like all the characters just making fucking dumb decisions one after another for 2 fucking hours. Like it was frustrating. It was really fucking frustrating.
It made the movie kind of feel longer than it should have been, right?
No, not even that. I actually felt like it wasn't long enough. The movie cements this idea that Zack Snyder can make a great movie, but only if the movie is greater than 3.5 hours long. Like I think he like it happened with like Batman versus Superman. It happened with Watchmen. It happened with fucking Justice League. He released those movies once and they were trashed. It was like, they're not that great. But then he releases like the 3.5 hour cut, the 4 hour cut, and everyone's like, "Oh, hey, this is much better." Just like he's got so many cool goddamn ideas, but he doesn't want to compromise any of them. He just like tries to stuff it all into a fucking bag. It's exploding, it's leaking everywhere. It's like, all right, here you go. So
where's the rest of all the shrimp that I ordered? I don't know, Ben.
Yeah, I got you what you wanted. So yeah, a lot of cool shit, but it was unfortunately outweighed by a mountain of dumb shit. So 4, maybe 5 out of 10.
You got to commit to something, Ben.
Well, I can't because I try to stuff it all in. All right.
Okay. Well, I think you guys both hit the nail on the head. There were definitely some weird touches to this. In general, I felt like the pacing was a little bit strange. I felt like we kind of ran into the same thing with like the Marvel series where we got into like an hour and 40 minutes and I was like, we haven't really gotten anywhere. And then all of a sudden the last 20 minutes of the movie just bang, 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 bang. And we just had like things that happened right after the other. Well, there was a lot of questions that were left wide open, but I definitely agree with you, Ben. There were a lot of really good ideas in there, especially kind of brought up some pretty good questions that my future brother-in-law actually watched the same movie, and we talked about it, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, that's a really cool idea about the alphas and stuff like that." And then just kind of like bridging from that, and then he started asking, like we started kind of spitballing some other things on top of that. But he was like, "But I'm so confused. What happened with this? What happened with that? What does this mean?" And I was like, "I don't know. Is my name Zack Schneider? Because I don't know what's happening." But for me, I felt like because of the visual aspects, I definitely really liked Dave Bautista. But some of the fact that Stu mentioned that Chris D'Elia is not in this movie kind of brings up two things that I wanted to discuss. First, rating for me about a 6. Entertainment's great. I think that I'm waiting for the 6-hour version of this movie. That'll probably be the one that we're looking for
with Chris D'Elia this time.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is a lot of the questions that weren't answered were actually answered in a like an interview that he did, where actually Netflix, because they were expecting this movie to do so well, they actually already greenlit a 8-episode anime series that, Ben, hold on to your pants, all right, goes into it. It's a prequel for Army of the Dead. Explains the origin, who the originator, or they call the original zombie. His name is Zeus. So where Zeus came from, the reason why he's at Area 51, and then just kind of like the fallout from all of that. So that'll answer hopefully answer some of the questions that probably like bridge some of the gaps of the questions that you may have. And the second one is obviously the Chris D'Elia absence from this movie. They needed to reshoot everything in front of a green screen to replace
I could
him.
not get over that part. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah. So, thank you, cancel culture, for instigating this.
That Chris D'Elia in that smart ass pilot role would have been perfect.
Well, I mean, the controversy around him, that's not as good. And apparently, there's some pretty unsavory things in general.
It's all been disproven. So,
has it? Oh, I didn't know. I was just asking. But yeah, that's a huge disappointment. That literally all it took was some people who didn't like him, and they canceled him, and they took him out. Because definitely, I agree with Stu. Like, definitely, a lot of those lines didn't land as well. But if it was Chris D'Elia, I feel like we would have gotten a much better picture. Because
maybe the Snyder cut release will
have Chris D'Elia. Kind of like but the Snyder cut didn't have Green Lantern in it, but that he wanted Green Lantern in Justice League.
Yeah, he almost won that battle. Almost.
Yeah, but Ryan Reynolds wins out. We're gonna get another Green Lantern movie. Come on, baby. All right, guys. Any other thoughts before we jump over to the deep end? I mean, the spoiler zone.
The spoilers.
Yeah.
I mean, that Chris D'Elia stuff. Like, from a technical standpoint, like I almost couldn't tell that. What's her face? Tig Notaro? Is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, like personally, I couldn't really tell that she was green screened in. Like I knew of it, but I was like looking really hard. I'm gonna find it.
They spent so much money to do that.
I think because to me, like the one of the whole scenes when she's on screen with all the characters at the same time, it just seemed like so. At first, to me, it seemed so weird that why is the background of this scene always so blurry?
Yeah, okay, that was one of the things. It was like,
and then I started to pay more attention to like that character in particular, and I started to notice like weird shadows. Like that's not a natural shadow. So I was like, obviously this person. And of course, I think the dead giveaway is that Chris D'Elia was in this movie and filmed it, but then they had to go back and cut him out of it. Yeah. So I think that was more of the dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Is there a reason? There feels like there's this theme with Zack Snyder movies that they have to CGI something out or something in all the time.
Do they? Like what?
Before he left for that family, unfortunately with that family tragedy, Henry Cavill didn't have a mustache. He had a mustache and he got that CGI'd out. here we have Crystalia and getting CGI'd out again.
Yeah, but man, that was under Joss Whedon, like that whole CGI stuff.
Blame him.
Yeah, blame him for that shit. But this one, I felt like it was done pretty well. Like I think there was only.
It wasn't terrible,
Yeah.
but just because the fact that you knew he was supposed to be in it, and these scenes were clearly already like, even when they first introduce the pilot, when they're standing on one side of the fence, and they just keep cutting back and forth, like clearly, like these scenes were not shot at the same time.
Yeah, no,
these were stitched together.
It's just like from a technical standpoint. That's what I'm talking about. Like the technical standpoint, I think there was only like a handful of times where I'm like, okay, the lighting here looks definitely fucking weird, But other times I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. They got an ensemble shot with Tig Notaro on there, and it looks pretty natural. Like I couldn't really tell too much, but from like an acting standpoint, that's a whole nother thing. It felt like
there was no chemistry.
It felt like those lines were written for Crystalia.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe Chris. It felt like Crystalia kind of ad-libbed some of those lines, and then after they ad-libbed it, they wrote it down on a script, and then they gave it to Tig.
Right.
Like, all right, now just read it word for word. It was just like
try to say this with Crystalia's energy.
Yeah, and it was really awkward because I know that when they filmed all her shit, she was completely alone. She didn't even have any set to work with. It was literally just a bunch of green blocks and shit. And like I can't really like slam her for for having poor acting or anything. She's literally just talking to a bunch of green shit.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely no knock against her. I mean that she was put in that impossible position. So
yeah, but I think I would like to see what would have been like with Crystalia, like
I would like to see that cut, please.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a lot of the lines were pretty funny, but it's just like the delivery was just like, oh.
Right. But yeah, it was. Hopefully, we'll get the Snyder cut. The Snyder cut.
Release the Snyder cut part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of crazy that like there is a possibility of them resurrecting the Snyderverse, but apparently they're still at an impasse a little bit. But yeah, we'll see. But all right, let's go over to the box office. We'll go ahead and go over to the spoiler zone. All right,
all right.
Everybody situated? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Stu,
keep your arms and feet inside the spoiler zone at all times. One thing I really did like about one aspect of the movie I really liked was not the intro scene where you see like the Army or the Air Force guys getting their shits fucked up, but the kind of like the intro credits,
the montage.
Yeah, the montage where it's kind of showing you all like, and I was like, when you started talking about the animated series, like, oh, please be about that.
Yeah.
But then I was kind of disappointed. The only part, like, I really liked it because they set up that first character who was like the mom.
Oh yeah.
And she was like this total badass. And then they just fucking wipe her out in the montage. Like they set her up like she's one of the main characters, and then she gets fucking demolished.
Yep, slammed by a barrier or whatever.
Cargo crate or whatever. So that was a bit of a bummer. But going back to what I was talking about earlier, the all the aliens references. So first of all, it's a short list. So not a short list, but there's Dollar Store Vasquez, who was the YouTuber's friend who had the red paisley bandana.
Oh,
that's basically Vasquez from Aliens. And because she like turned into a badass, or not, she was like showing off like what a badass she was when she like was demolishing all those zombies. But then ultimately she gets blown up. Hey, just like Vasquez in Aliens. There's also a line where the coyote says something about you don't see them fucking each other over. That was a line from Ripley talking about the aliens not fucking each other for a percentage. There's obviously that Weasley bad guy who betrays everyone, leaves them to die, and then is killed subsequently. There is this is really kind of obscure. There's a scene where Dave Bautista does like this, where they're running through the casino, that he like does like this action roll, and he's like shooting up at the zombie who was diving at him. I don't know if you remember that scene, but that was pulled from Aliens also. There's the scene where he's kind of like storming down the stairwell, which
on the way to free his daughter.
Yeah, which was also not lifted, but had a. I mean, this might be just for me because I've seen Aliens so many times. There's obviously the rescuing his kid, or rescuing a child. They go from one building to the other building in the helicopter. That was like at the end of Aliens. And there's also the part where he comes back and the helicopter's not there. That was also Aliens. So yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Like, for Zack Snyder, I feel like he tries to be too much of an auteur director, right? Like the guy that can do it all. He can direct, he can do editing, he can choose music, he could, make story. However, I don't think he's very good at making the fucking story. We've seen it. Like, what was it? 300. 300 was based off the book. Never mind, or off the comic.
Graphic novel.
Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch was not very good. I mean, there's his other zombie movie that was okay, but like the story was like,
What was his other zombie movie?
Was it Dawn of the Dead?
Zack Snyder?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Right, the remake. For
some reason I thought you said Shaun of the Dead. I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, Edgar.
Ben would know if that was any by him.
That's his nickname. But
yeah, Dawn of the Dead, 300, Watchmen.
Yeah, but like Sucker Punch was definitely one of his most critically panned movies, just because of how shit the story was. And this one, not too much different. Everything, like all of his other critically acclaimed movies, had some sort of inspiration from it or some other storyline to draw from. All of his comic book movies, all that. Like, I don't know that's why I feel like this movie, when you started talking about all the inspirations from Alien, it does make a lot of sense. Like the storyline of Aliens is pretty much like a blueprint for this movie. They had this,
they
not a heist, but like
a group of people go into a place that's dangerous or could be dangerous, and trying to do something, whatever.
Yeah, kid and all that. Yeah,
there's a kid there. Stupid kid, god damn it.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that, but yeah. Like, okay, actually, at the fucking end,
no,
like
let's get into it.
Yeah, let's fucking get into it. The fucking helicopter crashes, and that person that she worked so fucking hard to save or whatever was making such a big deal. You don't even know if she's fucking
dead or alive.
No, she's dead. She's for sure dead. Not only that, but she basically risked the lives of the entire team.
Yeah,
for that stupid little stunt she did, and now everyone died.
Yeah,
because of her.
Well, to be fair, Dave Bautista also made the really fucking dumb decision of being like, yeah, you're right, let's just do it.
Well, yeah, I would have. What he should have done is like, all right, yeah, go in afterwards and die. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like there's just so much fucking stupid shit everyone decides to do. It's just like it gets worse and worse and worse and worse.
And
it's just
this lady. His daughter has been working outside this quarantine or whatever she's doing there. She knows what's on the other side of those crates.
Yeah,
and she's acting like that's not a threat.
Yeah,
she can handle it.
My promise was to save this lady and her kids.
Yeah. Meanwhile, she's going in with a bunch of people who, like, you see in the beginning of the movie, fucking went through hell getting out of Vegas alive. So
I think one of the more disappointing parts about this movie is that I do like all the characters, to an extent. It's like I like the idea of the characters. I don't like how each one was executed. Like at the end of the day, it's just like, well, they're dead, and I didn't really learn anything about them, so I don't really fucking care. The locksmith was probably the only character that got like a lot of screen time and a lot of time to kind of express what he's all about. Everyone else is kind of auxiliary, even Dave Bautista to a point. So it's really frustrating that the movie was kind of short, and it
was just like him on screen for most of it, and then it's just kind of like whatever.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like I wanted to see what all those characters were about. It seemed like they had like some cool things going for them.
Like the coyote, I thought she was pretty cool.
Yeah, like she seemed fucking badass. Like,
and then the philosopher saw guy, which also. They made this whole thing about his saw, and he didn't even use it.
That's like the biggest letdown for me. They had whole shots of just the fucking saw. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna get a fucking saw shit. We're gonna get like a whole action scene where we're just fucking power sawing zombies. Nothing. We just fucking cut a wall and we just dump it. Fuck that.
That was also very disappointing.
That was more than disappointing. I think that actually took off a whole point for the movie for me. That was like,
so deflated because of it.
I was also deflated that like, oh yeah, I was like, oh sweet, he survived, and then he's like, but when did he get bit? He never got.
Yeah.
There was nothing to bite him. Like, you can't just have him be bit just because you want.
But he was bit when he was fighting with the alpha.
The alpha never bit him.
Yeah, I was paying pretty close attention to that. I was like,
he only scratched him.
Yeah, he only got scratched. He got choked. He got
he got beat up. Yeah, everything but bit.
Yep.
Definitely not on the back of his arm.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I didn't really understand where that came from. Maybe if they had like some sort of like ambiguous shot of him, but nothing. I don't know.
The one I was confused about was the fact that I was like, where are the robot zombies from?
Oh, yeah. Like you notice sometimes when they shot him in the head, like there's blue sparks coming out, right?
Yeah, what was that?
They
said
those are
robot zombies.
Yeah, the robot zombies.
What? How?
They said they'll talk about it later in the Netflix.
In the Snyder cut with Crystalia?
Yeah.
No, the Snyder TV
animated
series
one.
Crystalia.
Yeah, featuring the voice of Crystalia.
For all of them.
But
I was also very this goes back to his daughter just being a stupid fucking character. Getting not only kind of being the result of the entire team getting wiped out, but shoot, wait, was that not who I thought it was? Oh, I thought it was Penelope Cruz. But,
yeah, she looks like her.
the Penelope Cruz, dollar store Penelope Cruz is like, her the scene where she dies was like pretty gnarly, but like still, it was all her fault. It was all the daughter's fault.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah,
like, now that would happen.
She couldn't have left well alone and stayed put like she was supposed to.
No, I know better. I'm gonna go rescue my dumbass friend who went out, who was also equally as dumbass as I am.
Well, okay. This was the other gripe I had about the movie. As the antagonist, and none of that would have happened if you just clearly communicate with everyone. That's like, hey, I need to get the zombie head.
I need the head. That's all, and then we'll bounce.
But no, I have to be cartoonishly evil and just try to get you killed as well for no reason. And also, I'm going to tell you what my motives are while I'm doing it. Like, it was so fucking stupid. And then you're thinking the whole time, like, couldn't he have just done that without killing them? Like, he literally could have gotten the head at the very beginning and just bounced. That's it. Like,
he could have just left them there. That would have been just as good.
Yeah, it's just like, all right,
why go through all the trouble? Like, wait, didn't he also get the head like at the very beginning of where they walked in?
Yeah, and he
went back to the front.
He kept fucking going just so he can lock them in for no reason. Like that's more effort, actually.
Yeah. I definitely feel like it was satisfying to see him get destroyed by that tiger.
That was very satisfying.
Ben, how'd you feel about the zombie tiger and the zombie horses? Since I know you love zombified animals.
No, I just love animals.
Well, from your what's that movie called? Armageddon.
Oh my god.
What's it?
Okay, so this is my number 2 zombie animal of all time. Nothing stands up to zombie bear. But that was pretty cool, but I don't think the ends justified those means. To get to that point, I don't think it really worked out. Like, yeah, it was a really fucking satisfying feeling. But the whole reason that you felt satisfied and think about it is just like, well, this guy was just an asshole for no fucking reason, no logical reason, and he was just doing things to be a dick. So it was just like, I guess. But yeah, that crunch at the end and the aftermath of it, oof, man, good shit.
Definitely got our money's worth for that one for sure.
Yeah, definitely had some cool zombie death, killed or
Oh yeah, Chambers trying to get out of the kitchen.
That was my favorite scene of the movie.
Yeah, that was that's where the Vasquez thing comes from.
Yeah. I mean, she went out like a badass. Like,
like Vasquez.
I think that was probably the most well executed part of the movie because it already instilled this idea that she's fucking dead. Let's get the fuck out of here. And then she like fucking barges through the window. Yeah. But
then I was thinking like she's like 10 yards away from her. Just
like,
help her.
No, you're dead. They're just watching her like shoot everyone and kill everyone. It's just like, I wish there was something I could do about this.
Like
just
like
go
Austin
over
Powers steamroller thing.
I was like, no.
Use the saw, maybe throw something. I don't know anything.
Oh, I know what. I'll shoot you in the explosive thingy. Even though I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen, right?
I mean, if I were Darren, I would say actually that doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of physics things in there. Like, I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen, but I don't know enough about physics to disprove it.
I mean, one of the gripes I have is that I don't think a helicopter loaded up with like 8 or 10 people plus $250 million of cash could fly. Like,
well, that's because they weren't planning on doing it in the first place. Remember?
Okay, that's I guess that's fair, but
right. Well, but the team didn't know that.
I'm surprised the pilot didn't know that and go, wait a minute, that's too much weight.
We need like 2 helicopters.
Well, they also went in thinking that they would be able to maybe get a second trip out of it or something like that.
Yeah, that's
even though they did say they can't fly in, apparently.
Oh yeah, that's also true. Oh,
but that's strange. Like, who's patrolling that area anyways?
Yeah, they said that one of the main points was that everyone's leaving because it's going to get nuked.
Yeah, so what's wrong with just flying in with a helicopter, going downstairs, grabbing the money, and getting the F out?
Also, like, towards the end of the movie, the CGI definitely started deteriorating quite a bit. I was watching it and I'm like, holy fuck, this is a PS1 game. Holy
They're running out of money.
Like, the helicopter, I think, like, the blade stopped spinning at one point. Just like,
Well, they spent so much resources on cutting
Crystalia.
Crystalia out, they couldn't afford to finish the movie. So, all right. Well, guys, any other thoughts before we go ahead and wrap this one up today?
One last final gripe at the end when his daughter was shooting her gun at the big bad zombie, and then it kind of shows a close up of her gun, and she pulls the trigger, and the slide pulls back to show that she's out of ammo. That's not a fucking thing that ever happens ever.
It just clicks.
No. Yeah, it would have been stuck back from her last shot, or it would have just clicked. It would not fucking actuate the slide by pulling the trigger.
Would you like to lower your rating now again, Stu?
No, that's already been factored into my rating. But which is weird because they seem like they went through such the rest of the movie went through like such an effort to be fairly sound, but then they do that. So.
Womp womp.
That was annoying.
And Ben, any other additional thoughts?
Overall, just disappointing.
No axe killings.
How much fanfare did this have?
Saw killing.
If you think about it.
Fanfare?
Yeah, like, was there a lot of build up for this? Were a lot of people really excited for this, or was this always a direct to Netflix movie?
It was a direct to Netflix movie.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a. But the only thing is, we had Extraction. That was really, really good.
Yeah,
that was baller.
That was really good. So there is the opportunity for good Netflix movies, and
I feel like this could have been one of them had a certain someone not been cut out of it, or he could have at least helped it save
Josh
part
Whedon.
of it. Yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure that probably would have helped a little bit.
Hey, look, IMDb score 6 out of 10.
Ooh.
Hey, look at that, right on the money. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up for this week. Next week, we will be reviewing A Quiet Place Part 2.
What?
Oh,
I said A Quiet Place Part 2.
Oh, we're dead. David, you're going to get us killed.
Guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. As always, I'm your host, David.
I'm Stuart.
And I'm Ben.
Guys, don't forget to check us out on all your favorite podcasty places. SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, Google, and Apple Podcast, as well as on Twitch. We stream Monday through Thursday on twitch.com/dose-and-a-half-cincos. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to wash your hands, tip your Reiki Masters.
Twitch.tv. God.
Twitch.edu.
Twitch.gov.
Twitch.gov. Yeah.
All right, guys, don't forget to tip your Reiki Masters, wash your hands, stay safe out there. We'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye.
Bye.